മാന്യപ്രേക്ഷകർക്ക് നമസ്കാരം. A1 TV-യുടെ പീസ് ആൻഡ് പ്രോഗ്രസ് എന്ന എപ്പിസോഡിലേക്ക് ഇത് കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാ മാന്യപ്രേക്ഷകരെയും വളരെ ഹൃദയപൂർവ്വം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു.
Nassau County Executive Laura Curran, and please welcome Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge some special guests that we have here with us this morning. First, our friend to the east, who's come all the way to the west of Nassau County, Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone. We have the senator, the state senator of this district we are in right now, Senator Anna Kaplan. We also have with us, and you'll hear from her later, Tracy Edwards. Before you clap, I just want to tell you what she does. She is a woman of many hats, many responsibility. She is Executive Director and CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Suffolk and the Long Island Regional Director of the NAACP. We have Senator Kevin Thomas. I believe Jim Gorin is on his way. We have Senator Todd Kaminsky. He happens to be my senator on the South Shore. Senator John Brooks. Senator Monica Martinez is also on her way. We have our good friend Jay Jacobs. Town of Hempstead Supervisor Laura Gillen. Town of Hempstead Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Gooseby. And we have our wonderful county legislators Ellen Birnbaum, Arnie Drucker. Also traveling from Suffolk County Legislature Presiding Officer Dwayne Gregory. And he's lucky because he gets to sit right next to Town of North Hempstead Councilwoman Lee Seaman. All of our elected officials, community leaders, and our brothers and sisters in labor who I see here today. In my about 15 months in office, I've gotten to know Governor Cuomo a little bit. He comes to Long Island a lot, which is great, fighting for infrastructure, helping to protect our environment, and also to protect our taxpayers. And one thing I have learned about him in recent weeks is he really wants this tax cap to be permanent. Correctly, this is his third visit on this topic in 2 weeks. This is commitment. Since the tax cap was first implemented a few years ago, Long Islanders have saved $8 billion. It is incredibly important that we make this permanent. And And on a personal note, on behalf of the county, I want to thank the governor for including in his budget our 5-year phase-in on assessments, our taxpayer protection plan. So I want to thank you very much. Now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce someone who can speak firsthand about the transformative benefits of the property cap for Long Island, and that is Tracy Edwards.
Well, good afternoon and happy Sunday. Thank you. It is great to be here today with the Governor Cuomo. Thank you very much, Governor, for coming back to Long Island. Your commitment is just, it's second to none, so thank you very much. And all of the Long Island leaders here to fight for families in our community. You know, we love Long Island, but our biggest challenge we face on Long Island is high local property taxes. As a homeowner myself, I can tell you firsthand, for years, the taxes have went up and seemingly out of control. But for the governor, his 2% property tax cap represented a paradigm shift for my family and for all Long Islanders. In fact, my husband and I, sitting out there, has saved roughly $25,000 over the last 7 years. $25,000 that I could spend and save to help my children with my grandchildren's college education. In fact, I don't want you to tell my children this, but if it is made permanent, the tax cap will save my family $160,000. In these challenging times, especially in the wake of the state and local taxes, it's necessary. But listen, this is not just about my family. This is about you and all your families, and it is about every family that owns a home on Long Island and across the state. I'm blessed to be the executive director of Habitat. I can tell you that families struggle to hold on, and the property tax cap has made all the difference to them. We must make the tax cap permanent. These families need and deserve predictability. Middle-class homeowners are the best people who budget, but they need predictability and confidence of knowing that their property taxes will not shoot up. So I thank you. I want to thank the governor for fighting for all the concerns of middle-class families. And I say to the state legislature, on behalf of the homeowners on Long Island and across this state, please, with a hard please, continue the progress we have made for the property tax cap once and for all. Make it permanent, take it off the table, and then you can move on to other things to help the middle-class families here on Long Island and across the state. So now it is my honor, my privilege, my great pleasure to introduce our champion for the middle class, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Good to be back on Long Island again, as you've heard. But it's an important topic, and we're getting right up to the end of the process. So one final effort is what today is all about. But first, to Ms. Edwards, let's give her a round of applause. Thank her for her leadership. Our great Laura Curran, let's give her a round of applause. Our our friends, Anthony Simon, Matty Arasich, to Jay Jacobs, to the local electeds who are here, thank you very much for being here. It is a beautiful day, and thank you for coming out on a Sunday. It's warming up. I believe spring is coming. I believe, with these extreme weather patterns, you never know, but I believe. Yesterday we were preparing for a snowstorm in upstate New York, but I believe today is a different day. You have to be an optimist if you're governor of New York. If you don't believe that tomorrow's going to be better, you don't get there. So I'm getting ready for spring. I was reading last night a book on the migratory pattern of striped bass. So I am getting ready. I am getting ready. One little thing we have to get done first is called the state budget. I was talking to one of my daughters this morning, who should go nameless, and she said, you know, what are you doing? I said, what am I doing? I'm still doing the budget. She said, you know, I don't understand why the budget takes so long. And she's now a financial expert because she graduated college. She's at a financial firm. She said, you know, it's just a budget. It's just an estimate. If it doesn't work, you change the budget. I said, no, it doesn't really work that way for the state. I wish it did. But the budget is not just the budget. The budget is really an action plan for the state that year. It's the main policies, the main priorities, the main actions that we're going to take. And you can't just change the numbers. And it's important. It's vitally important now because we have real problems. We have real issues. We have Washington that is attacking us every chance they get. Everything they're doing is an assault at New York. Everything. From their offshore drilling, where they want to drill for oil off the shore of Long Island, to their salt property tax increase, to their middle class income tax increase. Everything is an assault on New York and what we believe. So this year it is vitally, vitally important. And we have several priorities that we have to get done. We have to reform the MTA. It has to work better than it's working now. We have to have a fair funding solution. The Long Island Railroad has to work and perform better than it is working and performing today. And that's MTA reform, and we have to get that done in this budget, and we will with your help. We have to do criminal justice reform. You can't have a criminal justice system that says Lady Justice wears a blindfold and then say we have a cash bail system where it depends on your wealth whether or not you are released or whether or not you sit in jail. That is just fundamentally unfair. We have to address the issue of campaign finance reform because we're spending too much money on campaigns. People believe that their voice is not being heard. And we need to address that this year and make a real change. I believe in public finance as a system, and I believe it's time we move to public finance. And that's an issue that we have to deal with in the budget. There is some creative lessons that the state can learn. Suffolk County, I hate to give them credit, but Steve Ballone, their plastic bag ban is working. Why don't we do that statewide? We need to make the Affordable Care Act the law of the land because we have to provide people with health care. And these are all issues for the budget. And then we have a very robust Long Island agenda that we laid out. I said to you last year when we were all running for office and telling you what we were going to do, I said we were going to have the most robust Long Island agenda the state has ever had, period. And that's what we have in this budget. It is the most aggressive, robust, generous plan for Long Island. Because first of all, Long Island needs the help. It has great potential. We have a lot to do. And the Long Island economy is just not about Long Island. I know the word island, we're an island. Nobody's an island. No man is an island. I heard that before, Chad. The Long Island economy is vital to the state of New York. You are an economic engine for the entire state. So our first thrust, once again, is focus on the economy, keep that economy running. In this budget, we have $100 million to continue transformative economic development projects. I believe Long Island can be the next research triangle. You look at all the academic universities, you have the research universities, you see that R&D being commercialized. We want to keep that going with a $100 million investment. Nassau Hub, Ronkonkoma Hub, the Belmont Plan, they are transformative. And they can make a major difference, and we want to have them funded in this plan. We want to have an aggressive road and bridge and an aggressive Long Island Railroad investment plan. That second and third track on the Long Island Railroad, thank you, Anthony Simon, is going to revolutionize it. We want to rebuild 39 stations on the Long Island Railroad, and we want to get that funded in the budget. We need new water infrastructure, and it may not be sexy, but it is sound. We need a new sewer system. Steve Ballone is exactly right, and we want to invest in the county of Suffolk's infrastructure, water, and sewer plan, and that's in the budget. We support, and I applaud Laura Curran for taking on the issue of property taxes. You know, in politics, politicians love to duck the tough issues. Why? Because the tough issues are tough because there was no easy answer. It's a little controversial. And that's why the tough ones are tough ones. They just sit and they continue forever. We've been talking about this property tax issue forever. And the same song over and over, but we haven't fixed it. Laura Curran said, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to step up to the plate. I'm actually going to fix it and resolve it. And yes, it's not easy, but you don't elect a true statesperson because they take on the easy ones. It's because they take on the hard ones. And that's how you. She has asked us to help by adding a state law that would allow the taxpayer protection plan to go to 5 years, and we're going to do that, and that's in the budget, and we want to get that passed. And talk about taking on the hard ones. We're going to make the MTA actually expedite and complete a project called East Side Access, East Side Access was started by Mayor Lindsay and Governor Nelson Rockefeller. They started it. We have in this budget the most aggressive offshore wind power program ever done for off the shores of Long Island. We have our shellfish restoration program. We want to restore AIM for the local governments because it is important, and that's in this budget, Mayor Murray. More education funding from the state of New York for Long Island schools, the highest number of education funding in history. And two essential priorities, especially given what Washington is doing. First, we have to continue to cut taxes for the middle class. The middle class is the class that is under duress, the burden on states like New York, and did nothing for the middle class. We have cut taxes every year that I have been governor. Every tax rate is lower today than the day I became governor of the state of New York. Every tax. But we want to continue to cut taxes for the middle class. In this budget, we cut taxes for the middle class from 6.8 to 5.5 for people making up to $150,000. For people making up to $300,000, 6.8 to 6%. So we say to the middle class, we hear you, we know your pain, we know you're struggling, and New York State is going to do another tax cut. And on top of that, the property tax cap is essential. And the property tax cap is the largest tax in the state of New York. Property taxes are 2.5 times state income tax. By far and away, the largest tax a person pays is the property tax. And property taxes, as Ms. Edwards said, we're going up 6, 7, 8% every year. Year after year after year. And we were literally taxing people right out of their homes. I can't tell you how many people said to me, my property taxes are higher than the mortgage. When you're old like me, the mortgage was the problem buying a house. Now, you can afford the mortgage, you can't afford the property taxes. And to go up 6, 7, 8% a year. What goes up 6, 7, 8% a year? My income's not going up, my bank account's not going up, my house is not appreciating 6 or 7% a year. How can you keep raising the property taxes? And that's what we did year after year after year. And people said, well, it has to be this way. We have to do it. And we said, why do we have to do it? Why can't government live with the same restraints that the taxpayers are living with? Why not? Why can't they have the same fiscal pressure that families have? And then that's the tax cap, 2% a year. You can live with 2% a year because, by the way, it's the cost of living adjustment that families are living with year to year. And we passed it. And you know what? The world is still spinning. Government is still functioning. We wound up finding ways to make the budget work and still do all the good work that we're doing. $25,000 saved by the Edwards family. Do I get a Christmas gift or anything? No, nothing. 22 kids get it. $25,000 saved already. Close to $9 billion, $8.7 billion saved just on Long Island, $25 billion saved by taxpayers all across the state. And frankly, they're getting better government service because more money didn't always mean better service. If you listen to the regular bureaucracy, more money, more money, more money is always the answer. More money, more money, more money. No, just because you put more money into something doesn't mean you're going to get a better product. Management, efficiencies, attention, that's how you get a better product. You're getting a better product out of Nassau County government today than you've gotten before. You're getting a better product out of Suffolk County today, better than before. Not because they're buying it, it's because they're managing the government. So we know we can do it, we know we can save money, and we must now because you have the federal government that just passed a tax bill that is an arrow at the heart of New Yorkers. When they passed that tax bill that ended deductibility of state and local taxes, it said your property taxes are now going to be taxed by the federal government. So if you pay $20,000 in property taxes, before you deducted it from your federal income tax, now you pay federal income tax on it. So the feds are raising your property taxes it's more important than ever before that we make sure they're capped. And saying it is a permanent tax cap says to people, feel confident, feel secure, your property taxes are not going to go up on the state side. We hear you, we're committed to it, and that tax cap is permanent. I have said that it is a top priority, line in the sand, call it whatever you want, but I said this hand will never sign a budget that does not have a permanent tax cap, period. Because the state Senate is never going to pass a budget that doesn't have a permanent property tax cap. Do you know why? Because there are senators from Long Island who are going to stand up for the Long Island taxpayer. And they are going to say, we will never pass a budget without a permanent property tax cap. Because Jim Warren is going to say it, and Pat Kaminsky is going to say it, and Anna Kaplan is going to say it, and Kevin Thomas, and John Brooks, and Monica Martinez is going to say it. It will not pass without them. They were elected to serve Long Islanders, and they're going to stand up for Long Island taxpayers in this budget. Thank you.
Please welcome Senator Anna Kaplan.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome Town of North State's Receiver of Town Clerk, Wayne Wynn. I'm proud to stand here with Governor Cuomo to fight for hardworking families on Long Island. The governor has been fighting the scourge of high taxes on Long Island since day one. That is why I campaigned on making the tax cap permanent. And that is why I'm here today with my Democratic State Senate colleagues from Long Island, standing strong with our governor to fight for this pillar of fiscal responsibility to be made permanent in our state law. Providing tax relief to Long Islanders is our top priority. And today we are speaking with one clear voice to say that we will not support a budget that does not include a permanent property tax cap. Long Island cannot afford a return to the days of skyrocketing tax hikes that are devastating for hardworking families and for our economy.
Steve Malone.
So the last time I was here, actually it was the first time I was here, this is the second time, in this building, was for the inauguration of Senator Anna Kaplan. And isn't this exactly why we work so hard to make sure that she we know and we knew that they would fight for us in Albany, and that's exactly what they're doing. I want to thank everyone for coming out today on a Sunday. It's a beautiful day out. You could be doing a lot of different things, but this is really important. And I'll tell you, I explained that to my son Michael. He's out the door. I said, "Bud, it's really important." He said, "Why?" I said, "Buddy, we're going to save thousands of dollars on property tax." He was kind of just looking at me, not knowing what I was talking about. But I don't know if anyone else has kids in lacrosse. That stuff is really expensive. So I just want to say, Governor, thank you. This is helping Michael play lacrosse and my other kids doing the things that they're doing. My kids aren't quite at Tracy's level yet for college, but this is really important. And let me just say why this is so important from my perspective. You know, when I was running for this office, you know, I supported the governor's effort to create this property tax cap because I knew how critical it would be. And it has done an amazing job for Long Island, so critical. But here's why permanency is so important. And Laura knows this, we do this every day. We're talking to businesses every day that are making the determination whether they're going to grow and expand here or whether they're going to go somewhere else. They're getting offers all the time from states all across the country say, come here, you know, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. And we're fighting to make sure that they know that this is the place that they want to grow and invest. They know business and every homeowner that we are serious about protecting their pocketbook, protecting their property values, and protecting their business. And that is going to help all of us on Long Island grow our family's economy and our regional economy. And that's going to help us continue to move forward in a positive way. So this is really important. I appreciate everyone coming out today, supporting the governor's effort, third track, East Side Access, Ronkonkoma Hub, the Belmont, the Nassau Hub, investing in water quality, protecting our environment, promoting economic development through the RADC. It is all about making us more competitive. But this issue, making the property tax cap permanent, there's nothing else we can do right now that will send a more important message. So thank you very much, Governor. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our program is now concluded.